Hello. I went to the emergency room earlier with my mom, and I'm really grateful that she took me. I was just like, I've been really scared and really bogged down by the symptoms, the like mental illness type symptoms that I struggle with. It makes managing my life very difficult. I cannot stress that enough. I switch like so often that I hardly retain like any information. I only get like little bits and pieces here or there, and it's very disorienting. We went to the emergency room hopefully so that I could be seen and I could just be like, this is what I've been dealing with my whole life and I really need help. Is there like any help available? This is what I've tried, and it's like everything. I've seen so many therapists, I've seen so many psychiatrists, I've been in the psych ward multiple times in my adolescence and as an adult. I've I don't know, I feel like I've tried to do the right things and it hasn't helped me. Yeah, and like please help me. Unfortunately, it was really distressing to go to the emergency room because parts kept popping out and fronting very briefly, and they didn't know where we were or who our mom was. So, like, they kept just being like, where are we? Like, who are you? And hyperventilating and panicking. And I was vaguely aware of the fact that this kept happening because, like, I would pop out briefly and then I'd be sucked back in. And that was just happening over and over and over. And I felt like very guilty for the way that my symptoms affect everyone around me. I'm constantly disoriented and like I didn't used to tell anybody like what was happening with me because I didn't want them to think that I was crazy or get my freedoms taken away or be locked up forever. And maybe that's irrational, but like I'm a very anxious person and my freedom has been stolen from me a lot. Like I feel like that's partially what trauma is. It's stealing at the heart of it. I feel like it's this like the theft of freedom, of your like own freedom. Um ugh. Yeah, but we waited there, I feel like maybe for half an hour, which wasn't very long, if I'm honest. There was just a lot of people in the waiting room, and then the fire alarm went off, and it was very loud, and the lights were like flashing. There were like these lights on the walls, like all over the emergency room that were just blinking, 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 and this very like loud, chirpy, like chirp, chirp, chirp sound. And we are autistic, and one of the most major ways that our autism affects us is mainly sensory sensitivity, and it's very severe and it hurts. Like, I believe I read somewhere that, like, in the brain scans of like autistic people who are experiencing a sensory ick, like the pain receptors in their brain light up. I don't know if that's accurate. I read that somewhere. Let me know if that's wrong. I don't want to spread misinformation, but um I mean, I can concur. When I experience like a sensory ick, it's painful. Like it physically hurts in my body and like my head. And so I really did have to leave the emergency room because of that. And on the way back to my mom's car, um, we enter the parking garage and I start to feel like my consciousness fading and my legs are buckling. And I start thinking, oh my God, one of the babies is trying to front. What am I going to do? She's going to fall. And I feel really guilty because I couldn't do anything. One of the babies fronts and her legs just continue to buckle. She falls to the ground and she's just kind of sitting there and like reaching up and going ah 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 like a baby does. and our mom is like confused and doesn't know what's happening, and I'm trying to get to the front, and I'm like, oh my god, mom has got to be so anxious and like confused by this, like I'm being such a burden. And I get to the front, and I'm like, and I try to explain to her, I'm so sorry, like that was a baby. We have this problem where we have like alters who are babies and they can't walk. And um like she was very understanding, but I felt like such a burden. And I get up, and like I'm walking to the car, and as I'm walking to the car, I feel like the baby trying to like get back to the front. And because my legs are wobbling, but like I'm focusing so hard, I'm trying so hard to ground myself and be like, okay, I'm here, this is my goal, I must get to the car, like I can't let her fall again. Because internally, like I'm a mother, and I mean, I've always wanted to be a mother externally as well. So like it, to me it feels like I let my baby fall, like I dropped her. And I know like that maybe doesn't make sense like to some people, but I'm feeling this guilt, like I let my baby, like I dropped my baby. um Oof. Yeah, unfortunately we were not able to be seen. I think that like if like I do want to go back and see if they can do anything to help me. The last time I went to an emergency room, they didn't really know what my condition was, and they didn't know how to help me, and they just discharged me. But there's like another hospital that um, is in, it's like in a different town but like the same state, and I went there in the past, but the staff at this emergency room were very cruel to me, in my opinion, and it traumatized me. From my memory, there was a child, we were there for our mental health, and like granted we've been like this our whole life. We've had like, I mean, it's getting pretty bad right now just because we're going through a breakup, and a lot of like the reasons for the breakup is because of things that we did but we don't remember doing that negatively impacted our ex. And um it just kind of brings it back to, we don't want to hurt people, we don't want to ever negatively affect anyone, especially people that we love, but we keep doing it. And like I feel that it's because we haven't been able to get proper support and like solutions for what we're going through, and like our system conflicts. And obviously it's also our fault, like we do have accountability for the things that we did, but it's hard when you don't remember the things that you do, and I want to remember those things, and it's hard. But yeah, that the emergency room that I was talking about that I went to, uh we were going there for the same reason, trying to get answers, trying to get help, like anyone to assess us and set up a plan for like solutions and like a better future for us. And I believe I was like a young adult. I think I was maybe like 19 or 20 at the time. Please don't hold me to it. My time frames are really messed up because of my dissociation. So like when I give like a time frame, it's general. It could be wrong. I remember like I was there to be seen, to for them to help, but I was there like all night long, and in like the emergency room, and it was really overwhelming. And then different person now. Hi. I switched in, and I was scared cuz I was in a hospital, and I didn't understand why, and I thought like maybe I had cancer or I was sick or something. And so I started crying and getting really anxious, and I tried to find a nurse to help me, but she just kept talking over me and telling me to stop being emotional and to stop crying.